Good afternoon. Welcome to another section with Accent Consult. I trust the week has been productive. So this afternoon on Accent Consult, we'll be talking about your business and the Corporate Affairs Commission. So basically what we're going to be talking about this afternoon is what you should know about the Corporate Affairs Commission. And I would want to assume that majority of us listening to this broadcast have had to at one time or the other had to do some dealings with the Corporate Affairs Commission, or even if you've not had any dealings with Corporate Affairs Commission, you've heard the word Corporate Affairs Commission. So the Corporate Affairs Commission is an establishment of the federal government of Nigeria. It's a federal government agency that is saddled with the responsibility of managing the affairs of businesses in Nigeria. If there's anything every Nigerian knows about the Corporate Affairs Commission, is the fact that it is the agency that registers businesses. So we have a lot of people have at one time or the other had to register their business either through an agent or even by themselves, because the way the Corporate Affairs Commission works now, they have a system whereby you can register your business by yourself. You can do that yourself. So majority of us may be very familiar with this part of CAC or the side of CAC that has to do with registration of businesses. But that is not to say that all that the CAC is empowered to do is to register businesses in Nigeria. So we'll just be having a discussion around what you should know about the Corporate Affairs Commission, especially where you have a business registered, or you have an association registered, or a church, NGO, whatever the form of registration. As long as you have something registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, this broadcast is for you. And if you are looking at registering something with the Corporate Affairs Commission too, this is also something you should listen to. So when we talk about the Corporate Affairs Commission, what are the obligations of the commission? Is it just limited to registration of businesses? That is not the only thing the CAC is empowered to do. So there are some other interesting provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, which is the act that regulates businesses, churches, NGOs, any outfit, any structure under which an objective is being carried on. So any structure under which this is registered, these are either as a business name or as a limited company or limited by guarantee, partnership business, limited liability partnership, any form of registration you undergo with the Corporate Affairs Commission. The Corporate Affairs Commission is the body that has the power to oversee and supervise the affairs of these entities you've registered. So the Corporate Affairs Commission have the power to incorporate. When you want to incorporate your business, that's where you have to go. So and in the exercise of this power, sometimes they query your application, you submit, they tell you, oh, the name you submitted is not available, or the name is vague, or the name is misleading, whatsoever the basis. So this is why anything that has to do with registration is the Corporate Affairs Commission. Also, the Corporate Affairs Commission also manages businesses, and this is still why when you want to file some post-incorporation filings, you want to do some things after registering your business, the place you also have to visit is the Corporate Affairs Commission. And also when you want to end the business too, the end point is also at the Corporate Affairs Commission. So it's like the Corporate Affairs Commission is like, as much as it is a clinic where you go to when you want to birth a child, like we always give this instance, when your business is a baby, when you want to give birth to a child, you visit either the clinic or maternity home. When you are naming the child too, is either you consult or you get pastors in the church to officiate this naming ceremony, or you get imams or traditional worshippers, whichever one you get them to conduct the naming ceremony. So this is also what CAC does too. So when you are naming your child, the time of naming the child, so the only difference is that while you suggest name to your pastors and they name the child, you suggest names to CAC and they approve it. So they have the power to either approve the name or disapprove the name. It's such a very interesting one. So also when someone dies too, it also ends in like maybe the church or the mosque. They come to officiate at the burial ceremony and all of that. The same way to when a business is like you're wrapping up the business, you've made all the money you want to make, and you're like, this is the time to close this business, let me move on to other things. Or if there's a reason different from the business is good, you want to move into other things. So let's say you have debts, you are unable to manage your debts, and creditors are filing for winding up and all of that. So when the business is also coming to an end too, the agency that also manages that closure of the business is also the Corporate Affairs Commission. And another power of the Corporate Affairs Commission, which many people may not be aware of, is the fact that the Corporate Affairs Commission can on its own and by itself remove a business name or the name of a company from its register of business. Because one of the powers that the Corporate Affairs Commission has is the power to keep register of businesses. So all businesses that are registered in Nigeria, the Corporate Affairs Commission, they have a database where they keep record of these businesses. And this is why when you apply for name search, it is on this database. That's where they're going to conduct the search on, and this is what they're going to use to base their decision on whether or not the name be submitted. Power to remove name registration. So many people after registering their business, they just go on doing that, go like they commence with business, they start everything that needs to be done without putting proper measures in place or without even knowing their compliance obligations to the Corporate Affairs Commission. So after registering your business, you don't just go to bed, because that's not the end of a relationship with the Corporate Affairs Commission. You need to keep engaging them. Remember I said they love to hear from you. The Corporate Affairs Commission, they don't want to be like just kept aside or the like, because we've seen cases where these people register their business and for 10-15 years they keep doing business, they don't file annual returns, and unless an opportunity comes where they need to access some grants or credits or benefits, anything, incentives like that, and one of the requirements is that your annual returns has to be filed up to date, then you see people running helter skelter trying to make up for the past years. And the thing is, you have to file till date, and the payment is per year. So they're not even looking at, oh, let's do a lump sum, try to pay this particular amount of money. You have to pay per year. So this is why you need to really know your obligation to the Corporate Affairs Commission. So I've talked about the fact that the Corporate Affairs Commission, they have the power to establish and maintain register of business. And one other duty of the Corporate Affairs Commission, which is why you see Corporate Affairs Commission offices in different states of the federation, is because the commission is also empowered to establish offices, because we understand that business now, like SMEs, are taking over the economies of Nigeria, and they contribute a lot to Nigerians' GDP. So this is why we have Corporate Affairs Commission office spread across the country for ease of access, such that where you have issues with resolving your compliance obligations to the Corporate Affairs Commission, you can easily walk into any of the offices. Even though as a result of the ongoing pandemic COVID-19, there has been a limit or a restriction to movement of people, like how you come into the Corporate Affairs Commission premises. You have to schedule an appointment, and they also have designated email addresses where you can channel your queries to. So the Corporate Affairs Commission, aside from registering your business, aside from even supervising the winding up of the business, aside from exercising the right to strike out name from the register of business, they also have the power to investigate into the affairs of your company. And one of the ways the CAC does this is they have a provision, and this is also backed up by the Companies and Allied Matters Act. So the Corporate Affairs Commission, they are not just acting without powers, because these powers are contained in the law that established them. So the Corporate Affairs Commission, they have a platform whereby you can investigate a company. So this is why you can apply for a status report on a company. You can apply for you can conduct search on the affairs of a company. So let's say you want to deal with a company and the volume of transaction is huge. It's not something that you can just deal with someone you don't know. You can apply to the Corporate Affairs Commission to conduct a search, to know who the directors are, to know how the business is faring, or to even know the authenticity of that business. And a quick way to even know that business is valid is by running a quick search. The Corporate Affairs Commission has a portal where you can easily run a search on a company. So that's like one of the first things that you can do without you even applying for a detailed search report. You can just go to search.cac.gov.ng. You type the company's name. Let's say the person has given you his or her document. So you can just type the company's name, and that's one way you can easily verify if the company is even at all registered. Because we've seen cases where people try to falsify records and documents, and they present to you business certificates and documents, and you think they are all authentic, and you go dealing with these people. So you can easily conduct a search, run a search. That's just for you to just see the company's name. And if you want to confirm or verify the status of the directors, shareholders, and all that, you can also make a payment to view people with significant control in the business. So the first search is to enable you to just confirm the business is registered, and you will see the RC number or the BN number or the IT number. That is if it's an NGO or an incorporated trustees or a church. So you can easily see those details. But if you want to take it a step further to see the names of the directors, the shareholders, you want to know that the people that are even presenting themselves as the owners of this business, they are the owners of the business. You can take it a step further by paying for status report. And if you now want to take it a step further again, to know if this company is actually an active business, because you can still do a status report and it will show you that the business is either active or inactive, or you see names. But if you really want to know that this business, they are compliant, they don't have any debt, recurring debt, especially if you are looking at investing in the business. So you can conduct a search to know the extent of their liability. So if it's someone who has taken credit facility from a particular company, he has all the shares are and they have a charge fixed on all the shares, like they literally have nothing in the business. Even the company's assets, all of that has been used to use that security over loan. So you can take a further step to conduct a comprehensive search on the affairs of a company. So this is one of the powers of the CAC. And another power of the CAC is that they have the power to ensure and to enforce compliance on business owners. So what are compliance obligations? I've talked about the fact that you need to file annual returns. That's like one major compliance obligation, even if you are not doing other things with the Corporate Affairs Commission, because some other compliance obligations, they are based on the decisions you make in the business. So if you don't make some decisions, you may not have a duty to file anything to the Corporate Affairs Commission. But filing of annual returns is something that you have to do every year. So what are the decisions you can make in your business that demands that you notify the Corporate Affairs Commission? One of it is that when you change your business name, because we've seen cases where people, after registering the name of their business, they discover that the name is not really projecting the business, or they don't like the name. Because some people, at the point of choosing the name, they just like come up with a name and let me start business. They didn't really take their time to come up with a name that they will love, because if you don't love your business name, it is even going to affect your productivity. So you need to love the name under which you are trading. So if you desire to change your business name, you can do that. CAC is not saying, oh, you've registered with Accent Consult, you can't change the name. If you desire to change Accent Consult to another name, we can apply to the Corporate Affairs Commission to change our business name. If it's a company, you can apply to Corporate Affairs Commission to change. If it is a church, you can apply to change the name. If it's an NGO, you can apply. Whatever structure or whatever business or organization is registered, you can change the name of that organization or that entity. Then another thing is when you change your business address, your registered address, because at the time of incorporating your business, you are expected to state a physical address where people can exchange correspondences with you, where people can easily trace you. And remember, I said that people can conduct a search. The Corporate Affairs Commission have the power to investigate your business. So how can they effectively do this if you don't have an active business address? So you shouldn't just fix an address. And we've seen cases where at the time of incorporation, clients provide some names for us, like street name, and CAC will query the address to be vague, because they also want to be sure that this address you are giving is something that people can locate you. It's not like you are hiding and you are doing business and you are cutting away with people's money. So you need to change your address. If you need to change your address, it is expected that you also notify the Corporate Affairs Commission and you apply for change of address on the Corporate Affairs Commission portal. So if you're also removing a director, so let's say you've appointed director in your company, you need to remove this director, or even if the removal is based on the fact that the appointment of the director is tenure based, so there's a tenure fixed already for that director. So if you need to remove the director, or you need to bring in another director, the director is exiting voluntarily without you even saying leave my business, I don't want to engage you again, or the director is resigning, or the director dies. So anyone, once there is a change in the status of the directors of the company, it is expected that you also notify the Corporate Affairs Commission and you file this removal with the Corporate Affairs Commission. And if you are appointing also, it is also expected that you also notify the Corporate Affairs Commission that you've appointed another director in your business. And one of the ways, why is it necessary, or why should you notify the Corporate Affairs Commission when you remove a director? Can you just decide, oh, I don't want to bother anybody, or it's not like I'm trying to put anyone out there that you person has been. It's for your own interest, because sometimes we've seen cases where some directors are no longer with a particular entity and they keep dealing with this entity because you've presented them to the public. The public has related with them as one of your directors or people who oversees the affairs of your company. So if, for instance, you employed someone or you engage someone as a director in your company and people already know this person and they've been dealing and they continue to deal with the person even after the person is out of your system, like the person is no longer with you, the person continues to deal. So one of the ways you can exonerate your service, if you file the notice with the Corporate Affairs Commission and you also notify people to that, oh, this person does not is no longer with this particular entity, then that's a way of saving yourself. So anyone dealing with such a person, you have something to show that, oh, he stopped working with us as at this time. So you have a document to back up your assertion. Or let's say the person has gone to defraud people, you have a document, you have something to back up your assertion to say that, oh, we are not a part of this activity. So if you also increase your issued shares at the time of incorporation, so let's say you registered with company, you issued you have, let's say, 1 million shares in your company issued, and now you want to increase your share capital, all of this you can do that, and you have to file a notice. You have to notify the Corporate Affairs Commission. So it shouldn't just be that, oh, internally my issued share capital is 10 million and on paper, on CSC document, what we have there is just 500,000. So that does not speak well of your business. So also, if you are registering your business as a limited liability company, we've seen cases where people start business as a business name owner, and we oftentimes also encourage people, start small. You don't need to start like very big. If what you can manage and like you can easily work with at a time, especially at the time of registration or at the time of setting up that business, is a business name. If that is what you can manage financially, compliance wise, and all of that, we advise that you start with a business name. So the fact that you started with a business name doesn't mean that you can't, after all, like going forward, register a limited liability company. So if you desire to upgrade your business, that's what like people usually call it, they say they want to upgrade their business. If you desire to upgrade your business as a limited company, you can also do that, and you also have to file for consent. You have to notify CAC too. So all of these things like keeps taking you back to the Corporate Affairs Commission. So this is to let you know how important the commission is. So you don't just deal with them at the time of registering the business and you go to bed, you do things on your own without consulting and knowing what is expected of you. So if you also appoint a company secretary or you remove a company secretary, it is also expected that you notify the Corporate Affairs Commission. If you secure the company's property, like if you create a charge like a security interest on the company's property, either fixed or floating, whichever, it is also expected that you also notify the Corporate Affairs Commission. You register it within a time frame too. So let's say you obtained a loan from a bank, financial institution, or from anybody, and that loan is secured with the asset of the company. It is expected that you notify the company, you register that transaction with the Corporate Affairs Commission. And lastly, where you make a decision to cease doing business or to wind up the business, it is also expected, or even where the business is being taken over by another entity, or where there's an acquisition or mergers, like you enter into a partnership with another business too. So when you are doing all of this, it is expected that the Corporate Affairs Commission is brought into the picture. Don't just do a secret joining of your entity with another one, secret wedding, because when you merge with another entity, that's like a wedding. So don't conduct a secret affairs with another entity. Everything you are doing let it be clearly recorded and filed at the Corporate Affairs Commission. So you should know that failure to do all of these things, they attract penalties, where you fail to file within time or where you don't even do it at all. So all of these attract penalties. So this is why you should understand the stage where your business is at, what is expected of you, the things you are doing that you are not doing right, and what the CAC mandates that you do. So we believe that you've picked one or two things from our conversation this afternoon. If you have any question, you can drop it in the chat box. We'll come again next week, Wednesday, for another section with Accent Consult. Thank you for joining us.